Hey, this is Tony with Bopit Business Spotlight Channel, and I am here with President and CEO of the Mesilla Valley Economic Development Association, Davin Lopez. How are you doing today, Davin?
Doing well, Tony, thanks.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what MVEDA is all about.
So MVEDA, we're an organization, economic development organization, and our goals here is to grow the economy for all of Dona County. We do that through the creation of economic-based jobs, as we call it. And economic-based jobs is really jobs that bring new dollar flow into the local economy so that it can circulate and more businesses can open as a result of it, and it just goes to a prosperous, thriving economy.
Where can people find the offices of MVEDA here in the Mesilla Valley?
Yeah, so we're located downtown. We're in the U.S. Bank building. We're right on the corner of Amador and Campo on the third floor, right off the elevator. You can't miss us.
When did you get started with MVEDA, and what is your background?
Well, I've been here almost 10 years now, and my background is really educationally, economics degree, MBA, but then I got involved in corporate real estate with large real estate investment trusts in Chicago and Santa Monica for several years. The economic development story of a lot of New Mexicans, I moved back to New Mexico, I grew up here, and found out that my career wasn't here. And kind of looking around, I stumbled into economic development at that time, which was a completely new career for me, and started doing this and kind of really fell in love with the idea of contributing back to New Mexico residents and those who are finding themselves in the same situation as I did when I came back to New Mexico, but even more so, look at all the high school graduates, all the college graduates, and we see them leaving our economy. How do we figure out how to keep them here, keep them productive, keep them happy in really what's a great state?
Give an example as to what kind of services you offer to business owners here at MVEDA.
So first and foremost, we're not chambers. So what we do is we try to build the economy by bringing two ways. We try to bring new companies to the area to create those economic-based jobs, or we'll work with existing economic-based companies to help them grow. Let me clarify what economic-based is. Economic-based is any company that has a product or service that exports 50% or more of their product or service outside the state. That in turn brings new dollar flow into the state. New dollar flow comes in, it circulates around here so that more, again, as I mentioned earlier, our local businesses can thrive because there's just more disposable income. I mentioned this to you earlier when we were talking. The challenge we have with New Mexico without having economic-based products or economic-based businesses is, let's say you take a trip with your family to Disneyland, the dollars you earned here are now in that economy circulating several times over instead of here and being prosperous. So we have to kind of counteract that leak, that natural leakage that takes place. So really that's what we try to do, is bring in the new businesses. One example of that is, you might have heard that this past Friday, Stampede Meat announced that they would be coming to Sunland Park, which we're very proud about here in this office because this is the largest single jobs announcement in at least 15 years here in the state of New Mexico. And to be part of that process of bringing them to a small community like Sunland Park, the economic impact that it's going to have in that community is going to be felt for decades in a positive way.
If you had to give one reason why any business owner, any potential corporation that's looking at the Mesilla Valley as a possibility of relocating here, what would you tell them?
Well, we all want to say we want to start with the fact that we have a great place to live. I mean, we do. We have a wonderful quality of life here, but the challenge is every community is telling that same CEO, we have the best quality of life. So we have to really work with companies in terms of them understanding what locating in Dona County means to their bottom line and to the success of their business going forward. That's really how we have to paint the picture for them. And the way we do it is we really target industries where we have unique assets to offer that industry. So for example, value-added agriculture in this area, we're deep-rooted in it. We have a lot of supporting factors, for example, NMSU being a traditional research ag, a lot of background in agricultural expertise here. So we can turn that into discussions of why food processing might be successful here. Same thing with, we sit next to a border that has a huge manufacturing base, and now that we have Union Pacific located in our backyard, we can really talk to companies about why being in this area tied into that manufacturing base with Union Pacific creates an ideal logistics hub in the U.S. that you just cannot find anywhere else. So when we start speaking in terms of that, we can really talk about how we are unique compared to other communities across the country.
You said you're from this area. You grew up here. What is your personal mission about being the president and CEO of MVEDA that you want to bring to this area?
Well, let me clarify before someone calls and says that I'm a liar or something. I grew up in Albuquerque. That's where all my family is and where I grew up. I came here about 9.5 years ago. And like so many people who moved to Las Cruces, fell in love with the area and can't imagine really living anywhere else. But, really our mission here, and I think if you talk to any of our staff members as well, it's both we want to be professionals, we want to do our job well, but it's a personal mission. My VP of Business Development, for example, he's an NMSU alum, and it's ingrained in how do we improve our neighbors here in the area? How do we improve their quality of life, their quality of place? So when it comes down to it, we do have a goal. We work on a corporate level. We work with companies trying to really assist them in high-level decision-making. But at the end of the day, it's looking at how does this impact our neighbors next to us so that we're all living healthy in really a great place.
When you mentioned that you grew up in Albuquerque, that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because the fact that you're bringing a new perspective as well. And that's what I too believe in. I was raised in El Paso, but I've been in many other places around the country. And what I do is I want to bring a new perspective as well. Lastly, anybody has any additional questions for you or MVEDA, how do they reach out?
Yeah, the best way is either come by the office or you can call our office at 575-525-2852. And, we're always talking about the economy. We have monthly luncheons that are open to the public. So we invite people to call our office, find out when those are at, and join us because, quite frankly, we all want the best for our neighbors and we all have to be in economic development. We have to be involved in the process and understand it and not complain about it later on if we're not successful.
Well, there you have it, folks. Davin Lopez, President and CEO of Mesilla Valley Economic Development Association. Check out their website, nmborderplex.com. Come by and see them. They're located at the U.S. Bank Tower, Suite 304, 277 East Amador, or give them a call, 575-525-2852. This is Tony with Bop It Business Spotlight Channel. Thank you for listening.